Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another week of me trying to be profitable and earn a payout. And this week I was still away on that sudden trip, so I apologize if the quality is bad. I've been working hard throughout the week within the circumstances, and I think that I still improved quite a lot overall. I made quite a few adjustments depending on the lessons that I've learned throughout the week, and that's helped me achieve better results, and I'm sure you guys can learn a lot from what I learned this week too. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's just get into this week's trades. Alright, going into today, we were extremely bearish, as both items were just dumping hella crazy, and we did take out some prominent draws on liquidity, so perhaps we could see some chop from that, but honestly, I just want to wait and see. But Tavern was reflecting more of the same too, as we were just dropping like crazy, and we did have this wick from sweeping the low, but right now, there just really isn't enough context for me to base my trade off of, so I'm just going to continue waiting. And going into the setup, honestly, I wasn't expecting a setup since we did form respecting the 15-minute fair value gap for bearish. But we did end up getting a perfect setup for my model where we tapped a 5-minute breaker following its break, and we also retested the 1-minute high-low golden zone where we ended up accumulating and shifting higher for confirmation, so I ended up taking it. And honestly, this setup was pretty scary at the start, with me being really close to being stopped out, but I held confidence though, as we did form respecting the 1-minute order block, and we did end up forming a nice push higher, and we ended up continuing with that push higher, and we did get some accumulation midway through for a few minutes, but shortly after we got that pump up that we needed for a nice one of 600. And for what I could have done better today, I don't think there was too much I would change. I maintained the patience extremely well, I would say, and that helped me find the setup, and I also did go in without much expectation either, as I wanted to detach from the whole idea of trading is a big thing too. I'll just take the setups that follow my model, but otherwise I think pretty good today. I'm going to keep working to do better, to be more disciplined, decisive, and patient throughout my life in general. Alright, going to today, we did seem pretty bullish as we had a 4-hour inverse fair value gap overlapped with a 1-hour fair value gap. We had retested these imbalances already in fact, and looking at the low time frame, we were pretty chopped currently with us tapping into both of these 15-minute order blocks. Hard to say for now, so I want to wait for a clear shift out of the accumulation range before going for anything. For today, price didn't end up doing shit. We just chopped around for a while after the market opened up, and we were still holding with the bullish imbalances, and we did have the bullish SMT as well, so this was setup honestly looked pretty good. Then we ended up just invalidating the SMT, and we also had news at 12 AM, so I ended up just deciding to hop off since I waited quite a while already. Alright, going to Thursday, we had a 1-hour order block which we're currently respecting for bullish, and we did also sweep out a 4-hour high from which we started stalling, which indicated to me that we lost a bunch of our bullish power. And we were getting a solid push down on the low time frame, which created some breaker blocks for us to work with, and we're accumulating while respecting these imbalances, but I do want to see how we break out from this range. And I ended up entering into the setup a bit later. We ended up getting a retest into the 5-minute breaker, which was overlapped with the 5-minute high-low golden zone. Price ended up getting a bullish reaction candle, and although it wasn't that strong, I took it as confirmation and entered into the setup. I was pretty confident overall since the setup had the 1-hour order block and 5-minute breaker, as well as the 1-minute high-low golden zone back up the setup. The price ended up plummeting hard after a bit of stalling, and today should have honestly been another no trade day. I had realistically missed 2 setups because to me I didn't have enough conviction to enter into them, and the first one was during market open too, which I don't want to risk on. Both of these trades would have ran fine, but it's just that I didn't have the confidence to execute on the model. And since I didn't have the confidence and missed 2 setups, I should have just hopped off the charts and stopped there for today, since it does show that I'm not in the right headspace. Alright, so today we're having a massive displacement on the high time frame from the high impact news at 10:30, and we did have some bullish imbalances below which were actually untapped. Looking at the low time frame, we were showing more of the same with a massive displacement. We had untapped imbalances below, which makes me think we could go for a retracement play. That is what depends on where the price accumulates and shifts to the sell side. And going into today's setup, I saw that we were still holding with the 5-minute fair value gap and accumulating further. I wanted to see a shift higher from this as the bullish confluences were still holding, which we did end up getting a shift a bit later after a retest into the 1-minute high-low golden zone, from which I market entered into the setup. And I was really confident in this setup as the confluences were pretty good and aligned with the current high time condition too. The price did just end up plummeting really quickly to hit our stop for a smaller loss of 130. Oh, today I got hasty yet again. I didn't wait for a proper breaker structure and instead went for higher volume candles. This wasn't enough though for the setup, and that caused me to lose the setup I took today. I also think I need to improve outside of trading too. I said before I wanted to detach, but a lot of times I'm still at my desk just working on other stuff too. So I reckon I need to make some time to do other things other than working. Perhaps a change in environment or getting some sun, you know. Just something that'll help break up the day and make me push myself to work harder. Alright, so that about that's it for this week. Pretty alright week, all things considered, as I did end off on the green, and the trade on Tuesday especially was very good. I did slip a bit later on, which I also think is because I wasn't productive enough, and I initially had this thought on Thursday where I thought that I wasn't being productive enough, and that made me clear up my whole day to complete work. But from that, I found that I was a lot less efficient, and I was just at my desk the whole day, completing all the daily tasks when I wasn't completing them with efficiency, when I would otherwise be able to complete them while having a busy day. And me not leaving my desk didn't help eat my course either, as I felt that it just kept my mind from being able to think freely, and that's one of the biggest points that I want to improve on. I want to not rely so much on journaling, and instead just think carefully every day about areas I can improve in for trading and how I could be better both on and off the charts. I'll be back at the original setup next week, so the quality should be back up. I should be sure to incorporate this lesson though, more productivity off the desk, as my whole life isn't just trading. I could work out outside or read a book in the living room rather than just doing all these things in my room, which is usually a darker and cooler environment too, so yeah, thinking about it now, it's better to make that change, so I'm gonna do that. I think it'll make me happier, and that mood improvement will correlate to me making better decisions as I achieve wins in other aspects of my life too, so I don't feel like trading's my only chance of winning. But yeah, otherwise that's about it for this week, so thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. But from that, I found that I was a lot less efficient, and I was just at my desk the whole day, completing all the daily tasks when I wasn't completing them with efficiency, when I would otherwise be able to complete them while having a busy day. And me not leaving my desk didn't help eat my course either, as I felt that it just kept my mind from being able to think freely, and that's one of the biggest points that I want to improve on. I want to not rely so much on journaling, and instead just think carefully every day about areas I can improve in for trading and how I could be better both on and off the charts. I'll be back at the original setup next week, so the quality should be back up. I should be sure to incorporate this lesson though, more productivity off the desk, as my whole life isn't just trading. I could work out outside or read a book in the living room rather than just doing all these things in my room, which is usually a darker and cooler environment too, so yeah, thinking about it now, it's better to make that change, so I'm gonna do that. I think it'll make me happier, and that mood improvement will correlate to me making better decisions as I achieve wins in other aspects of my life too, so I don't feel like trading's my only chance of winning. But yeah, otherwise that's about it for this week, so thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.